It's time to take your business to the next level, the boss level. These are the premier business owner strategies and successes being utilized by the industry's top talent today. Rock your business like a boss, a VO boss. Now let's welcome your host, Ann Ganguza.
Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast and the Boss Superpower Series. I'm your host, Ann Ganguza, along with my amazing special guest co-host, Lau Lapides. Lau.
Hey, Ann. Woo,
how are
happy
you?
to be back. I'm fabulous. How are you?
It's a brand new day, Lau. It's a brand new day. It's a new year, and I am excited. And speaking of new, right, I think it's time for us to maybe talk about setting goals, starting something new. I always get a great thrill, a great anticipation and excitement when I start something new. And I think it's something that can really help bosses to grow their businesses, to be continually moving forward and progressing. And I think it's wonderful to challenge ourselves. What about you?
I love it. I would love to do some tips on how we can start something new, because it's that feng shui of your soul, your spirit, your closet, your studio, your whatever, your car, your relationship. It's like, how do I not only cleanse and clean things out, but how do I make the fire happen? How do I create it and do it on a regular basis as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur? That's what our job is. It's really to constantly create things, create fire. That's why
we're
creatives.
creatives. Yes. And we really need to embrace the creativeness, even if you feel that you're not creative, right? And you feel, and it's scary. I'll tell you, it's scary to start new things because what if we fail? Right?
Yes,
what if it doesn't work? What are we going to do? And so I think that there's a lot of anguish that happens before we start something new, or goodness gracious knows that I can procrastinate along with the best of them, right? But once I get a focus, right, I'm focused. But I'll tell you what, getting started and starting something new, a lot of times I know that bosses will be like, I don't even know where to start. So what are some tips on how can we generate new ideas, right? I mean, some of them can come from within ourselves, but I'll tell you what, there's technology out there that can help us to maybe spur some new ideas for how to grow our business, right?
I would have a little something, a little trinket, a mechanism, a toy, or whatever. That is your reset button. That's your little thing that you go to. I used to have
Staples button.
When I worked with Staples. Yes, that was easy. I'd literally hit it on my desk and go, boom, that was easy.
There you go.
So you need something physical in your environment.
I like
whether
that.
it's a stuffed
A bell.
animal,
Ring
whether
the
it's
bell.
a button,
Wait.
a bing, a little bell or something. It sounds ridiculous, but I'm telling you, your brain takes recording really well. Ironically, we're in the business of recording. Everything we do, everything we say, every move we make, we're being recorded.
Yeah.
So every time you do that little Pavlovian dog behavioral thing, your brain goes, oh, something good is coming. Something new is happening. I'm going to accept it into the reality that I want safety, I want comfort, and I want to know exactly what's coming up. So it's going to reset that for you so that you've got a mindset, focus, reset before you do anything. I think that's really important.
I feel like we could do a search on Amazon or something, and something like a reset button or a new button or something that will help us. So if you're looking for that physical thing, that button to push, or there's always the staple that's easy button, which I love.
Yeah.
I had a bell, that kind of thing. But yeah, I like that. That's a good start. Now, but what are we going to do that's new, right? How are we going to come up with ideas, right? I think a lot of us have ideas on what we'd like to do to move our business forward. Oh, build a new studio. Maybe there's roadblocks, right? But these roadblocks can actually, I think, motivate us, right, to get started on something new, because we can then work towards achieving our goal. And I don't want this to necessarily turn into the goal achieving episode, but it's very similar, because what if, okay, I want to start something new. I want to go into a different genre of voiceover, or I want to build a new studio, or I want to rearrange my office space, right? So it's more conducive to working more efficiently. Whatever it might be, I think it starts with the idea, and it starts with that little bing, here we go, right? And now, what are the steps that it's going to take to get there, right? To start this, to actually accomplish this?
By the way, you could go very Eastern philosophy. You could do either a gong or you could do some chimes. I love the chimes. The chimes is really cool to my ear.
I have tincture bells. I don't know if those of you out there, I love tincture bells. Tincture bells they carry good vibrations and good energy. And tincture bells are just a beautiful sounding bell. Yeah.
All right. I have a really cool exercise, Annie, that I use for a number of the solopreneur classes that I teach that I myself love doing. And that is, we put on some really cool music. My favorite is Bonobo. We put on some fabulous music and we do like a timed brain dump. And the timed brain dump, usually for me, is 6 minutes, but it could be whatever you choose. And it's a time where we put on that music, we focus our pen or pencil on the paper, and we are not allowed to pick the pen or pencil up for 6 minutes, meaning I don't allow critiquing, I don't allow editing, I don't allow review. It's not grammatically correct. It is a creative writing exercise for you to dump out everything in your brain, refocus, but most importantly...
Wait, you don't pick up the pen until 6 minutes, and then after 6 minutes you pick up the pen?
No, it doesn't matter what you're writing. You're allowing your subconscious to drain itself.
Oh, okay.
So that you and your intellect have nothing to do with it. It's really about...
So you're not writing, you're dumping.
You're writing. You're actually writing what you're dumping.
I thought you said you don't pick up the pen.
Well, meaning you don't pick up the pen to stop writing. You keep your pen to the paper.
I see.
And you write. And it can be tiring. It can be physically demanding for people who are not used to writing. But it's important because we get in the way so much of the ideas. Like we got to get ideas out there before we can dissect them or critique them. And sometimes nothing comes of it, but oftentimes there are things lodged in our brain that are either exciting us, bothering us, sticking, coming back, that we need to awaken and pay attention to for that new idea.
Now, during this exercise, you're writing everything that's coming into your brain. Everything. Even if it's not a new idea, right? Even if it's like,
it's a total...
oh my gosh, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? Or I'm hungry. Or, okay, even that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a total stream of consciousness. They used to use this in psychotherapy where you would speak it out loud, but I like the privacy of being able to write it because you're not necessarily sharing it with anyone.
Absolutely.
Unless you choose to. It's really for your own purpose of writing everything out. So it might look like, oh, I'm hot right now and I need a banana and that coffee hurts me and he sucked. And why did he break up with me? And I don't have money for a microphone. And then I may go back to it and go,
I need a banana right now.
Right. But see, notice that banana jumped out at you. That may be my next creative idea about the banana.
About the banana. I love it.
Yes.
No, I love that.
Right?
Okay. And so after 6 minutes, then what happens? We've got a bunch of writings on our paper.
Well, that's up to us how we want to facilitate that. We can either leave it alone, put it in our corner where we put our writing and just feel like we've been drained a little bit, we've been feng shuied a little bit, or we can look at that. In my coaching, I'll look at that a lot.
Circle.
And have people pick out, emphasize
highlight
the words, the ideas that resonate to them in that moment.
I love
and
that.
And usually there's a couple in there.
I love
usually
that.
There's like, hate my mother. Oh, that's interesting. Hate your mother. Okay, so let's look at that, right? And then that can go in many, many directions. It could be anything. It could be comedy. It could be farce. It could be absurd. It could be not even a reality in your mind.
It could be a podcast on your mother. Right?
It could be
the evolution of a podcast on your mother.
It could be a film I saw that was called Hate My Mother, and I can't get it out of my head because I love how they shot something, or I love the sound of the film.
See, as you go deeper into that, right? What did you love about it? It sparked something creative, like you could do this, or we should do something like this, or, you know what would be cool if this were developed? I have so many good ideas. How many times, bosses out there, have you had an idea and you're like, oh man, or you'll see a new thing that comes out, a new gadget, and you'll be like, man, I had that idea. That was my idea, like years ago, right? And we never really kind of took action on it. And a lot of times it's because it is something new. There's not a lot of things out there to reference it. We don't know quite how to wrap our heads around it. We don't know how to get started. We don't know how to maybe put it into action. But I'll tell you what, I think that those circled words or whatever those things that are in your brain, you can then start to say, all right, how can I make this happen? And if this is going to be something, hopefully it's something that will move you ahead in your business. And I'm a big believer that if you're moving ahead in your personal development, you're also moving ahead in your business because, again, our business is so much connected to who we are and ourselves. And so really that can be motivational to really moving forward. So yeah, you've got those ideas. Now, what is it going to take to put those ideas in motion? What is it going to take? And a lot of times people might say, well, money. Okay, all right, money might be what you consider to be your barrier, right? But we can figure out what are ways to overcome that barrier of money. How can we make more money? How can we put some money aside every month to be able to continually add to the budget to make this happen?
I also find, Annie, that when you write something down, it becomes more real. When you pull it out of your head,
I agree.
It's not real in your head. I mean, just because this is what neurosurgeon had famous talks, just because you're thinking it doesn't mean it's real. It doesn't mean it's true, right? Like I need to hear that from a neurosurgeon, but it's true. Because when I think it, I think that it's actually true. But when I put it on paper, all of a sudden I can clean that shop. I can decipher it differently. Like what I want to be tackling, what I don't want to be tackling, right? So when I tackle it, when I say, I'm going to emphasize that, I'm going to tackle that, and this is just my process, I like to start sharing that with confidants. I like to start coming together and collaborating and brainstorming before I even get to money and budgets and all that stuff. I like to come with someone and say, am I crazy? Am I sane? Is this worth time? What do you think? And if I hear this common response of, ooh, that's interesting. That's cool. It inspires me.
Or would you buy this? Or would this be something that you would like? Or that kind of thing. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it's not real yet in my mind. It's not even real if I believe in it yet. I want to see what a community response is. I don't share it with a million people, but I share it with a few confidants to see what their gauge is.
I'm going to tell you, for years now, probably 15 years, I have had a business mentor, somebody that I meet with, and I used to meet with her a whole lot more when I was first initially starting in the business, but we could brainstorm together, right? How can I grow my business? What do I see for myself in the future, and what is it going to take to get there? And we still do that to this day. It was, again, outside of my accountant. I always love my accountant. But one of the best investments I ever made in my business was hiring her to be that, and she's not necessarily in the business, right? So somebody that can help me to figure out, okay, what's new, right? And we actively talk about things at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, like what's new. But I think more importantly, it's not just end of year, beginning of year. It is every month, right? I have a standing appointment with her every month, and we talk about, okay, what are we going to do now? What are we heading towards? What are we evolving towards? And we talk about having a plan B for your business or parallel paths of passive income. I love that. Parallel paths of passive income. Parallel paths. We've got a lot of P's in there. Good thing I'm not too close to my mic. But those things are always evolved and developed during those monthly meetings. Now, I think it's something that you can absolutely start every month yourself or put yourself on. I think every month is good to be able to come up with new ideas, come up with new things to try. It doesn't have to be an entirely new idea, but it can be a new offshoot based upon, let's say, a long-term goal you have of, I want to be able to do animation. And so that may be a long-term goal. So then what's a new goal for next month? Well, let's decide on a coach, right? Let's start working with a coach. Let's call a series of coaches and let's see who I click with, right? And then let's do one session with each coach and then really find out who I jive, who I meld with, and then we can then start training. So it can be something new every single month. And I think that really helps you to, stagnation for me is the worst. That is when I think nothing moves forward. Their businesses don't move forward, and then people end up maybe not being in business anymore or quitting or being discouraged.
Exactly. That's when you start getting down on yourself and you become a saboteur and you sabotage things. So yes, I'm all for that. And I'll even say, to piggyback onto that, find groups or find specific moments of events that you can sit in on or be a part of that you can conjure ideas up as you listen to the group. Be careful of not spending your whole time, your whole week in groups because then that can confuse you because you're going to hear a lot of ideas and a lot of different thoughts.
A lot of
pick
opinions.
And choose. Pick and choose your group really, really well and wisely so that what you hear, is coming from a very high level. And that will help help inspire ideas that, oh, I never thought of that. I never thought that they would view me in that way. I never thought of that kind of project. That can be an inspirational force as well.
Now, there can be times when I feel like you can have so many ideas that it's overwhelming, right? And then it's like no ideas at all get developed, right? So you want to be careful of overwhelming yourself with new ideas. And I'm going to say that goals are wonderful. I'm thinking ideas, they evolve into goals, but I think ideas are wonderful because it's just a great, like, inspirational spot to start from. And then I think it can turn into a goal based upon the market, based upon realism, based upon, okay, I've got an idea for an extension of my business, but then maybe when you talk it over with some people, you find that maybe there isn't a ton of demand out there for it because it can be a cool idea. But in order to turn a profit, it has to appeal to other people too. So there's got to be time spent in researching those ideas to make sure, are you going to spend the time and effort in developing them further?
Yeah.
And so try not to overwhelm. I love that you said be careful with being part of too many accountability groups or too many groups because, yes, you can get too many opinions. You can get too many ideas. Here, you should do it this way. Here, you should work with this coach. Here, you should get this demo.
And then you're confused.
And then you're like, oh, God, I just don't
confused.
even know what to do. I think, honestly, if we sit down, I love the brain dump on the paper. I think that is really amazing because that is starting with you. It's starting with your desires, your passions, whatever you're feeling. And I feel like rather than somebody telling you this is what you should do, here's what you have a gut feeling about. I'm a big believer in your gut, right? This is what I'm passionate about. And if you're passionate about it, you're going to have the motivation to go and get it.
Yes. And here's a role play for you. I do this with myself all the time, and it makes me feel so good, something neutralizing about it. I'll refer to myself as a creative agency or the idea person of an advertising agency. Those are the people who would sit around, drinking soda, hitting hoops in their offices, and just shooting the Dick Van Dyke ideas all night long.
Absolutely.
So being unafraid to do that. But I would structure it. I would say, okay, we can do this day and night. I know I can do it day and night. Structure it. Say, listen, 1 week out of the month or 3 days out of the month are my idea days. Those are days that I'm brain dumping, I'm talking to people, I'm sitting in on groups, and I'm coming up with my top 3 prioritized ideas so that it doesn't become, but I have 50. What do I do with the 50? No, let me see if I can come up with 3 and then choose the one that I actually might want to take action on so that I'm structuring my time and I'm structuring through priority as well.
I agree.
And then I'm also giving a deadline too and saying, if this doesn't materialize in 3 months in some real way, I'm going to shelf it until later.
I like that. I kind of relate it to when people come to me and they say, well, I don't know what genre I should study voiceover. And we'll talk about, okay, so what do you do now? Do you have a corporate job? Are you an actor? Do you have a side hustle? However that is. And a lot of times it'll come down to, okay, it'll be easy for you to step into this genre because you've got experience in it. Let's say I'm talking to a teacher. I'm like, well, look, you already teach. You already have a concept of what it takes to be a good teacher. So stepping into the e-learning genre might work really well for you. However, you might have another loftier idea that you want to get into animation, right? Well, you can develop the one that you step into a little bit easier so that will help you to then make some money while you're also pursuing the other goal. And I think that usually works out really well. And I like to equate the whole doing something new and the inspiration to my demo creation process. Because for every student, right, that end goal of a demo to me is a creative process. It is a creation. It's a song. It is something that is completely unique for each and every student. And for me, the process is the same to get there. There's a lot of work that is involved, but there's a lot of time where, I sit there and throw the crumpled paper into the basket because there's the creative inspiration that's happening to really just bring it all together and to make it amazing. And so I can really appreciate that part. And each and every time and each and every demo becomes like one of those new things that I'm accomplishing. And I cannot tell you how satisfying that is because at the end I'm like, Yes. And I can see it when
Yes.
I'm getting towards
I
the
know.
end of creating
Us
the
too.
demo for the student.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, it's
Yes.
coming together. Oh my God, yes. And now I'm going to do that. Oh, yes. Oh, now, okay,
Yeah.
now I'm seeing it come together. And that to me is exhilarating.
Exhilarating.
It's kind of like the way I attribute starting something new in your business, right? You get that idea. You're like, oh, this could be really cool. And now how am I going to get there? And then you do steps to work to get there, to get there, to get there. You sit there, you shoot a few crumpled pieces of paper
Yep.
and you think about it, you sleep on it. And then the next
Yes.
morning you get up and you go, ooh, let me try that, right? And then when it starts to come together, that's the most amazing thing.
See, that's really the thing, because I find that with creatives, one of the sticking points for most creatives, no matter how successful they are, is the execution of things. It's getting through what I called in the theater
grind.
days technical rehearsal.
Okay.
That's the worst, dirtiest, muddiest, ugliest, disgusting. Like, what if we worked on it? Looks like crap. Okay. And then it just comes together, right? So you have to be able in your business.
Well, you can see it, right?
Yeah. You have to be able to move through that disgusting kind of uncomfortable kind of like, but I worked on this for months. Why does it look this way or feel this way, right? I was going to give another tip too, Annie. I was thinking, if you get together with that confidant, with that person, with that creative buddy, make use of that time by doing a structured business improv with them, saying, I'm going to take 20 minutes with you, 30 minutes. Here's my goal. If you want to work on yours, work on yours. But I want to talk out this idea I have that I'm looking to execute. And you ask me questions and you shoot, you fire, you do things to make me think about it and give you more real response. Because it takes it off the paper and makes it even more real when you have to speak about it to someone.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not just on the paper and you looking at it going, okay, and then you don't look at the paper. That's kind of like when you do write things down, right? And you have goals. I'm a big believer in putting them somewhere where you can keep looking at them. I mean, they can't just stick in your brain. If they stick in your brain, if you stick in your brain, it's easy for them to just, I lost it. Where to go? And you can forget about it. But having those in front of you and also talking it out with somebody, like I said, when I come back to meet with my business mentor in another month, she'll be saying to me, okay, so what did you do about this or how are we moving on? And I'm in the process of that right now. I'm making a shift to another cool part of the business that I want to open. And I don't quite know what I'm doing. And it's one of those things where it's going to take me some time, but it's okay. I'm patient with myself because it's going to be kind of a cool path that I've not explored before.
So the patience.
I'm patient with myself. So I think you need to be patient with yourself. So many of us are not patient when it comes to, oh my God, I want to be a voiceover actor and how come I'm not making money? All of a sudden it becomes like, well, okay. And the same thing with marketing, I'll tell you, I have people that we offer the Boss Blast that we've talked about multiple times. And I always talk to people about direct marketing, right? Marketing yourself is one thing. Again, you're putting things out into the universe. And again, when are you going to be able to collect on them? So I made an investment. It could be a financial investment, a time investment, whatever that is. Well, all of a sudden, it's been 3 months. Why haven't I gotten anything?
Right.
It's been 12 months. Why haven't I gotten anything? And again, one of those things we know, I mean, Lau, we've talked about this. I did an audition 2 years ago, and all of a sudden I got contacted by the casting director saying, hey, we think your voice would be great for this. The same thing for your ideas, right? Your ideas to develop. Just don't give up and be patient. It is one of those things, your marketing, direct marketing is huge in that convincing an actor to spend a certain amount of money or invest money on a regular basis for marketing is, pretty much close to impossible, Lau. And I know you know that, right? Everybody's like, I don't have the money. I'm broke. I'm not getting a return on my investment. People are so quick to say that. I am not getting a return on my investment. But
well, they have to think about, are they coming from a full, rich, abundant place? Are they coming from a cheap, overly frugal, not willing to invest place? Because people want to invest in you if they see that you're willing to invest in yourself first. So in essence, you are the proof of concept. If you're willing to invest, then you give someone else permission to invest in you. So that abundant versus a fearful, cheap place is really, really important. There's one other thing I was going to say, Annie, too. Now, maybe this is pushing it a little too far, but I'm that kind of gal. If you want to start something new, create something real up front. I'll give you an idea. I used to teach in a very competitive entrepreneurial program in a business college. And in the freshman year, think about this, 18 years old. The project was they take the whole first year, Annie, they would create in teams a product that at the end of the year, they pitch in
yeah.
a real way at the end of the
love
year,
it.
right? So it was whatever it was, a shirt, a clock, this or that. I never forgot, 18, 19 years old, I never forgot because they said, we don't care if you make money or not. This is about making money. This is about you learning that when you create a process, there has to be something real and executionary about it and something that you perform. It's performative. It's not in your head. So at the end of the year, they had to physically manufacture the products to sell.
Yeah.
And then they'd have to pitch it to see if they could get money.
That, Lau.
I think, here's the thought. We create something, whatever it is. It could be anything. Create something that is a sticker of it that makes it real. So for instance, let's say you have an idea for a new service in your business, or I have an idea for a business. Create a logo. Pay money for that logo. It could be $50, it could be $200, whatever. But it becomes
and
real
it's an investment
in a different way.
Absolutely. I love that you said that because honestly, like when I worked at the academies, the Bergen Academies, I mean, every student had a year-long project, literally, where they formed a company, they created a product, and they actually were all part of, here's the marketing department, here's the engineering department.
That's
and honestly, it gave them a reason to learn engineering. It gave them a reason to learn marketing. It gave them a reason to learn the SAP software. It gave them a reason to learn. They just had to create the prototype, and then they had to like market it and sell it, and then they had to present it. And we're talking about 9th graders, okay, back in the day.
It's amazing.
Now, if you start them at 9th grade thinking in that way, right, thinking in that entrepreneurial corporate way where they ultimately have to create something and then present it, right, they end up learning all of the things they need to learn in order to accomplish that goal. And that becomes a really wonderful education for the students, as well as I cannot tell you how many of those students are blossoming like amazing successes today.
Amazing.
Because they started off early knowing that and doing that. And so I think that's a wonderful idea for you bosses out there to go and create something, make your initial investment, something that doesn't have to take like $1 billion. No, but something that represents that and is part of your goal to getting there. And I think that that is amazing.
If someone says, but Anne, I'm worried. What if I spend $100 on this and I don't like the way it looks or it doesn't come out the way I want? Here's my answer to that. You made an investment in your education.
Absolutely.
So it's not the logo that you created. It's the educational process to know what do you want at the end of the day to represent your company. You don't know until it's actually happening. It can't sit in your head and come to perfection. It's got to be that like done, done, done. Every moment in your process, done. It's not about perfection. It's about done. Now move on. What did I learn? Right?
I'm going to apply that to the logo to even, go further. Website. Start a website. And so many people are like, yeah, but I shouldn't start it yet until I know what my brand is. Okay. Yeah. Here's a little piece of advice. Your brand evolves, right? It's not like your website can't be changed. It's not like your logo can't be changed or evolve along with you. As a matter of fact, I just went to the Wayback Archive and I saw my very first website where I was Anne Speak. By the way, you guys can look at that. Anne Speak. A-N-N-E Speak. And you'll see that my logo was a microphone, right? With little flourishy things coming out of it because I love flourishes, right? And the thing is that I've evolved. I mean, and our businesses evolve. And so it's okay. Yeah. Make that investment. The education you're going to get by hiring somebody to create a logo, forcing yourself to think about who am I? What does my logo represent? Or what does my website represent? What are my colors? What is my brand? That education is going to be invaluable. Yes. Lau, what a wonderful conversation. Yet again, amazing. I say this at the end of every podcast. It doesn't seem like Anne is like a broken record, but honestly,
that's great.
We have such great conversations. And you know what? I just love having you as my co-host. And bosses love you too. And we love the bosses. And so with that in mind, bosses, I want you to take a moment and imagine a world full of passionate, empowered, diverse individuals like we are. But we're giving collectively and intentionally to create the world that we want to see. You can make a difference. Visit 100voiceswhocare.org to learn more. And big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can connect and network like bosses. Find out more at ipdtl.com. Have an amazing week, guys, and go start something new. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your host, Anne Ganguza. And take your business to the next level. Sign up for our mailing list at voboss.com and receive exclusive content, industry revolutionizing tips and strategies, and new ways to rock your business like a boss. Redistribution with permission, coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast and the Boss Superpower Series. I'm your host, Ian Ganguza, along with my very awesome, amazing boss co-host, Lau Lapides.
Hello.
Hey, Lau.
Happy Saturday.
Lau, where'd you go? Lau, you're frozen.
Right. I know, you were frozen.
Oh.
So we lost transmission for a sec.
Transmission
It might have been
lost.
Wi-Fi.
All right.
Yes, it might have been Wi-Fi.
Okay. All right, well, let's try that one more time. I'm going to stop it and start the recording.